What up, fellow comic heads? It is I, Comic Head 84, coming at you with the new Comic Book Day haul for January 2nd. Have to check the dates. January 2nd. It was a pretty good week for comics. I scooped some up. I'm going to show you what I got, and I'm going to chat a little bit about them, tell you how it went, right? So, trying out a new format, as you can see here. Trying to get, a little more live and direct instead of just sorting through the books like I have been doing. And also, it's a pain in the ass to set up that little setup that I have with the black bat. Anyway, trying this out. Tell me what you think. Let's just get right to it, right? First up, Detective Comics, $9.95. Beautiful. Awesome book. I'm very pleased with Detective Comics again. Thankfully, this new creative team is killing it. Tomasi and Mankey. The story's legit. The artwork is great. I like where this thing's going. There's a cool little part in this book where someone is affected by Joker's gas. And as I was reading it, I was just really realizing how sick of a weapon the Joker toxin is. That's really well done. To have the weapon be, it poisons someone and kills them, but also forces this big smile on their face and makes them laugh and shit. That's a brilliant weapon. That's a brilliant creation right there, and a cool weapon for the Joker to have is the Joker toxin. It's really cool. So there's a cool little Joker toxin scene in here that was well done, and I'm loving these B covers from Mark Brooks. Mark Brooks is a beast. Sometimes I don't hear his name as much as he probably should. I mean, maybe so, but he is a beast. If you're not familiar with his covers, search him out, and you'll see the kind of fire that Mark Brooks puts out. So hopefully he's going to stay on Detective for a while. I think he's new to DC, because I basically know him off of a lot of Marvel stuff. X-Men, a lot of X-Men covers. He's one of those dudes that's really knocks it out the park on females. A lot of dope X-Men covers, Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen type stuff, but I can't think of any DC, so I'm glad he's on my boy Batman's book, and I hope he continues to put out this fire, because this thing is tremendous. I love this blue palette that we got happening here. Dope. Great book. Pick that up. Staying in the Batman land. Old Lady Harley, number 3. I love the concept of it. It's cool. I like jumping into this little future land and seeing what they do, playing around with the Batman world in this era, which I get a kick out of. The writing, maybe it's just not geared towards me. Maybe I'm not the demographic or whatever, but the humor is really bad. This shit is cringy. The comedy that is going on throughout this thing. So that's a turn off. But like I said, it's cool. The Bane twins are in this thing. First appearance of the Bane twins, if you're into that. If you're into grabbing up keys and stuff, assuming that maybe DC is going to continue going with this old lady, old man version in their world. Obviously, it's biting off of the Marvel stuff, Old Man Logan and whatnot. But if DC decides to do that, then this is going to be the first appearance of some pretty heavy hitters, I would assume, in that world. Because in issue number 2 is the first appearance of Old Man Batman is in that book. And in this book, you do get the first Bane twins, but spoiler alert, you're going to get the first, maybe I'd call it a cameo appearance of Old Man Joker in this. And you might want to check that out. spoiler alert again, I'll show you what he looks like. Because it looks pretty dope. I don't know if you guys are picking this book up, but I'm about to show you Old Man Joker, who actually looks pretty cool. Look at this. Bam! Let me get it in focus. Come on, focus, baby. Focus, baby. There we go. Huh? Old Man Joker looks pretty gnarly, I must say. And you know what? While I have this thing open, can I just say, class. That is class by DC. With utmost respect from the distinguished competition, Excelsior. Now let me just point out. You may have caught this from some of my videos in the past, or if you heard me talk about comics. I personally think DC is crushing the comics book. DC is doing comics right, for the most part, in comparison to Marvel, right? DC is honoring Stan Lee in a classier way than Marvel is. They got honoring Stan Lee right better than Marvel. Let that fucking sink in. Next. Heroes in Crisis. Issue number 4. This book is really impressive too. For $3.99, they could easily have charged $5, $4.99 for this. I'm surprised that they didn't. $3.99. You're getting, one of the better writers that DC has, Tom King, Clayman artwork, all throughout this book, by the way. Because last issue, Clayman only did artwork on like 2 pages throughout the whole book, and some other dude, his name escapes me, did the rest of the issue. So I was concerned about that. I thought they were maybe gonna, pull a little bait and switch or honey dick us on that and just put Clayman's, artwork on the front end of the series and then just whatever. But he's back, baby. He's in this whole book. He does every single page. The artwork in this thing is tremendous. There's a cool scene when Batgirl is in the little confessional at Sanctuary, which is a really cool scene, and he draws it really well. So artwork's off the hook. These covers too. I'm really digging these covers with the little file folder traumatic moment thing. Unfortunately, I was not hip to it on the first issue because I got this one, the Batman one. I don't have the Superman. The Death of Superman one is the one that I want to get, but oh well. The paper quality, all that stuff is so high class in this book for $3.99. I got one gripe on it though. If I was to give one gripe on Heroes in Crisis, and it's something that Tom King does sometimes in his writing, is these characters' voices don't sound like them a lot of times. Like, the way that they're speaking, like, dude, that don't sound like Wonder Woman talking. That don't sound like Batman talking, or Superman, or many characters. It sounds like Tom King. I don't know how to explain it other than doing like mocking voices, like OMG, like this is like a thing, and he's like my friend, and like they're a little too witty and shit like that. So I feel like they're making them try to talk like too relevant, because I know the purpose of this story is to make them feel like real people and not heroes, like the whole PTSD thing. That's making them very grounded, real people, which I respect that part of it. But they got them talking like motherfuckers sitting around a coffee shop. Like, it's too, the banter is too casual. It's too hip for these characters. Like, it takes me out of the story a little bit. So, but other than that, Heroes in Crisis is great. Moving on to Marvel, I grabbed the Superior Spider-Man. Scotty Young cover. I didn't read it. It's a cover grab. Boom. I picked up Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier number 2. This cover blew me away. This was a cover purchase because I didn't get number 1. But I got this one when I saw that cover on the rack. So I wanted to give it a try. This thing is amazing. This dude like an old Bucky costume with Winter Soldier in the sights. I feel like this dude looks like a young Benicio del Toro too, by the way. Oh no. Way back. So this started out as a cover grab, but the story was cool. I enjoyed it. Interesting little storyline going on here, and the artwork is cool. I'm not familiar with the gentleman who's doing the artwork on this, but it almost seems like Phil Noto-esque, just a little sloppier, like a little looser than Phil Noto. Phil Noto's a painted style, but it's still pretty tight, and this reminds me of that, but it's not as tight, but very cool looking. And for what it's worth, if you guys are not picking this up, you might just want to be mindful that this fella on the cover, I don't know if he's a pre-existing character, I don't think so, but it looks like, and spoiler alert, mild spoiler, it looks like they're shaping up for this character to be Winter Soldier's sidekick in this series. That's the impression I get. He's dressed up like a young Bucky and stuff. His name's RJ. I don't know if he's going to get a cool code name or not, but heads up on that. This might be like key-ish if this fella pans out. That's Winter Soldier's Bucky. Next up, y'all, Conan. We got Conan the Barbarian, the much anticipated Conan the Barbarian. Jason Aaron. Personally, liked it. Very impressed with it. I liked it. I was worried about how Conan was going to be written in the modern day, you know, in the quote-unquote SJW Marvel era, right? And Conan's like, as some people in that SJW crowd might say, this motherfucker exudes a lot of toxic masculinity, you know? He's raping and pillaging, he's a badass warrior, and he doesn't have time for your feelings, and a Conan book should be a pretty raw, rugged story, in my opinion. So I was curious to see how that was going to pan out, and it's all good, baby. I feel like the tone was cool, it was appropriate for Conan. That like beginning section of story was awesome. He's in a fighting pit, blasting a fool to death. He just wants wine. He's like, give me the gold and give me the wine. He's gonna go crash out. He hooks up with that chick. Anyway, it's just what I wanted to see. You know, it wasn't. I was just hoping that Conan wouldn't be neutered, you know, and have it be a pretty legit Conan story. So it seems like it's going that way. An interesting take, because the part that surprised me about this, because I didn't know what to expect on it, and it seems like they might be covering different eras of Conan, because right on the first page it says the life and death of Conan, which was interesting to me at first. I'm like, is this all going to be a retrospective kind of thing, or how does that pan out? And that might be the take that they're doing, is that these are all like, they're going to jump through history, life and death of Conan and whatever. So it seems like they're doing that. There's a section of the book that's like younger Conan, section of the book that is King Conan in his later days. So cool, interesting approach to it. The artwork is great. The first page is a double page spread, kind of like setting up the lore of Conan by Crom's teeth, right? And in the background is all old school. Let me show you that one page. You've all seen this book, I'm sure. So I ain't showing you nothing new. But let's marvel in it together. Bang. Very first page, guys. So no spoilers here. But as you can see, they're displaying the art of all the different eras of Conan artists. I know there's some Buscema in there. I don't have a sharp enough eye to really point out who's who, but I know there's a lot of classic Conan homage artwork in there. And if you picked up any Marvel books this month, where is it? Don't tell me this is the one book that doesn't have it. Maybe Conan doesn't have it. Made me look silly. I was gonna say, do you think there's an event coming? Because like this War of the Realms insert has been in the middle of like all these Marvel comics. Next up, my last new pickup. I'm gonna show you a couple old pickups, and oh no, and I got one book from my want list, 2019 want list. One of the smaller items, but nonetheless. Hi, this is the editor of the Comic Head 84 channel, and I just wanted to make a quick note that we will not be, in fact, revealing the comic from the want list that Comic Head 84 acquired this week. The editorial staff felt like the video was running a little too long, so for the purpose of that, stay tuned until next time when we show you that video. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Infinity War. Infinity number 0. 16 minutes. I'm going to try to pick up the pace here, guys. This is what I was talking about, of like, it's in the middle of all the books, this War of the Realms fold out thing. It's like, damn, think there's an event coming? Okay, Infinity Wars. Here's what you don't need to know about this book. Spoiler alert / heads up on a key type of thing. In this book, which is whatever, the story's fine. Oh no. This just went from a 9.6 to a 9.2. Real fast. I don't give a shit. Last page of this book, guys. Spoiler alert. Last page of this book. Logan Fenix guy shows up. Okay? And as you can see, you may have seen this promo image before. Infinity Gauntlet Wolverine Claw style. What are they calling that? Wolverine Infinity Watch. Okay? I'm pointing that out to say this. This guy's been showing up a lot lately. In this series anyway. This Wolverine Phoenix fella. So, if he's going to end up kind of really popping, maybe akin to like a Cosmic Ghost Rider type deal, there's 2 books you're going to want to have in case that happens. The first one is this. Thor number 1 from... this is volume 5 of Thor, whatever you want to call it. Is this the one after the God of Thunder? That like highly acclaimed God of Thunder, I think. Thor number 1, volume 5. First appearance of that Wolverine Phoenix. Kinda. He shows up on the last page, and the Key Collector app calls him something different. Calls it first appearance of Wolverine as Final Phoenix. To me, it looks like that dude right there. But just in case that's not it, issue number 5, which this is the cover B. The cover A is just like a big hammer on it. This is cover B, but issue number 5 is that he comes back. It's first appearance of Old Man Phoenix. And it's definitely that dude that's in that book. So, I don't know. If that guy's going to pop off or whatever, you might want to grab these 2 books. I'm not clear on which one is his first appearance, but it's in one of these 2. So, heads up. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me, and stick around till next time. Peace!